My name is Cecilia Meme. Welcome to today's program on justice, a lawyer's hangout where lawyers dissect legal issues with intent to create awareness, educate, and enlighten the public. Joining me on today's program are two lawyers in the legal profession in the person of Francis Daiko and Munirat Adama. Welcome to today's program.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Today we'll be discussing the procedures involved in setting up a legally recognized entity here in Nigeria. A lot of persons do business, they're into business, but not everyone is actually carrying out their business in a legal way. So today we'll be throwing more light on how to ensure that those who are doing businesses are having a legally recognized business here in Nigeria. So straight into the conversation. Francis, what are the procedures one must go through in setting up a legally recognized entity here in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you for that question. Setting up a legally recognized business in Nigeria, the first thing you need to do is first know what you are registering.
Okay.
What type of business do you want to register? What do you do? What does your company do? So from there, when you answer those questions, you'll now be able to proceed to the type of registration you are doing.
Okay.
All registrations are done through the Corporate Affairs Commission. So you have to get all your details ready, the name, your business address, and everything. You get it across to your lawyer.
Okay. Okay, so from what Francis has just mentioned, the first step in getting your business legally recognized in Nigeria is going through registration with the Corporate Affairs Commission, popularly known as CAC. So now, Francis, once one is done registering their business with CAC, is there a further procedure after that?
Okay, so after you are done, you are issued your certificate of registration.
Okay.
You can proceed to get your TIN.
Okay.
Recently, certificate comes with TIN.
Okay.
When you are issued your certificate, the CAC is working with FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Yes.
They generate your TIN for you automatically. So with that, you can open a corporate account and commence your business.
Okay. Okay. These procedures that you just mentioned now, are they backed up by any laws?
They are backed up by laws.
Okay.
Now, the first law will be the Constitution.
Okay.
You know, Chapter 2 of the Constitution talks about government promoting economic activities that will make everybody enjoy the country.
Okay.
So the Constitution, further on in Section 251, talks about the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court,
Okay.
wherein it states that every commercial dispute should be taken to the Federal High Court, dispute between companies. So Federal High Court is provided in the Constitution. So that is the ground norm from which every other law derives their validity.
Okay.
Yes. Then we'll go further to, because the Constitution empowers the National Assembly to make other legislations, they've come up with the Companies and Allied Matters Act, popularly known as CAMA. So CAMA is where you get everything relating to company registration. It's all provided in the CAMA. There are other legislations like the NIPC, Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, so many other laws relating to business.
Yeah.
They are all provided there.
Okay. So, is there a period prescribed by law for such procedure to be carried out?
Okay, so for commencement of business in Nigeria, you must register within 28 days of commencing your business.
Are you serious?
Yes.
28 days.
28 days.
Days. Yes. So if you don't register within that 28 days, the law fines you 150 naira per day of carrying on business without registry.
Wow. So this, for the sake of emphasis, you must register your business within 28 days of commencement.
That means
And failure to do that, the law fines you 150 naira daily for every day that default is being
that means as soon as you conceive the idea of a business,
Yeah.
we should get ready to
register it.
Yes. Or you shift your commencement date further.
Okay. So now, if for us to make it clearer, what types of registration are available to those who intend to set up a recognized entity? Because I know it will vary depending on the type of business, like you earlier mentioned. So, what types of registration are available?
Okay. Broadly categorized, there are two:
Okay.
the business name and the company.
All right.
Yeah.
The third part, which is part C, is called incorporated trust.
Trustees.
That's IT.
Okay.
So for this IT is where we have the NGOs, the churches, the mosque, your community association, your estate association. That's where you have it. So depending on what you do, if you're a small business owner, say you sell thrift clothes on WhatsApp, or you sell, maybe you're a cobbler or something very small, you can register a business name. But if you are into something serious like oil and gas, big companies, if you want to have something big, you need to register a limited liability company. Now, I don't want to bore you people with the categorization. In this limited, we have limited by shares, limited by guarantee, we have unlimited. That's going deep into the law, but I don't want to bore you people with that.
No, I think it will be an interesting information
Exactly,
that you should
yes.
also be aware.
Okay, so when a company is limited by shares, the shares now is the total amount the subscribers are going to have in the company. Say a company has 1 million share capital, maybe it has 3 directors or 2 directors, they share it 500,000, 500,000. Their shares, their liabilities limited to the shares they have in the company. So when you now go further to limited by guarantee, that one, they don't carry on business. Is for the promotion of social education. Say you want to do something free that you won't be making profit and sharing to the members of the company. That's when you go for limited by guarantee.
No, meaning that they can actually do business, but they
Yes.
cannot share profit.
Yes, they can't share profits to their members.
To their members.
Yes.
Okay. Then I think we also have the categorization of private and public.
Yes.
In
So
this
for private is just as the name implies, private. Public now, you can now sell your shares to the public. For example, we have Fidelity Bank PLC. That is a public. We have Unilever PLC. So all other small companies, they are limited. The other one is PLC.
Okay, so now the business type and let's say, should I say the quantity or the number of persons that you might want to get involved in that kind of business will now also determine the type of registration one is meant to carry out.
Yes.
Okay, now this brings me to our next question. Where there are foreigners involved, these procedures, are they the same?
The procedures are not the same.
Okay.
Definitely.
When a foreigner is involved, though the CAMA provides that there can be one director. One director now, the CAMA of 2020 now provides that a single director can open a company now. But with foreign participation, in practice, I'm talking in practice now, there has to be 2.
Okay.
Can be 1. And the minimum share capital for foreign participation is 100 million naira, 100 million share capital. That's the minimum. And in registration, the higher the share capital, the higher the amount you are paying to CAC and the stamp duty you will pay.
Okay. Okay. So aside now going through registration with CAC and all of that. So now where there's a foreigner involved, you've mentioned that the share capital is 100 million. Where also there's a foreigner involved, we cannot have the usual one person being a shareholder in that company or a director in that company. Okay, but aside that, are there other steps that a foreigner should take? Maybe they would need like a license or something to enable them come into Nigeria
Yes,
to do
thank you
business,
for
so
that
that they don't, so that they would not just feel like they just need to have the registration with CAC and
That's all.
that is all.
Yeah.
Are there other agencies that they would need to apply for certain licenses to ensure that their registration process is all encompassing?
Yes, they need to.
Okay.
First, they need work permit.
Okay.
They will get work permits from NIPC. Then Ministry of Interior gives them
There's a license that they are meant to get
they
from
get a license from Ministry of Interior to enable them carry on business in Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So now, are there any age restrictions for setting up a business. Can I just set up a business for my child? Or the law provides a certain age that when you get to that particular age, you can then now go on to say, I want to have a legally recognized business here in Nigeria.
Okay, so for business name, a child cannot register business name. A child in this definition now is a minor, someone under the age of 18
18.
Okay.
cannot register. But in a company, a child can be a shareholder. They can own shares. So in their own registration, you can even use birth certificate. Should they not have maybe NIN yet or international passport, you can use that for them.
So does this mean to say that once I'm above 18 years, I can register a business name?
Yes.
But if I'm below the age of 18 years and probably my parents want to set up their company, they can add me as a shareholder.
Yes, exactly. You are very correct.
Okay, beautiful. Let's go a little bit further because you mentioned the cooperated trustees
Yes.
from the very beginning. Let's not push it aside as well. Are there any age restrictions governing that registration? For those who want to register foundations, associations,
NGOs.
cultural groups, NGOs, and what have you
Yes, you need to be an adult.
as well.
Yes, you need to be an adult.
I think most Nigerian law is you must be 18 for you to do anything legally.
Okay. Now, Francis, pertaining to registration with the CAC,
Yes.
are there any post-registration compliance that one must meet?
Yes, there are. First is the annual returns. You need to pay your annual returns with the CAC. Why you are paying these annual returns is to make them know that, oh, I'm still in business. I'm still carrying on business with this name.
Wait, sorry for interjecting. One will mean to our viewers, one will mean post-registration compliance. Now, getting your business registered is one step. After your business has been registered, are there things that you're expected to carry out or you should know as a business, a person that owns a registered business here in Nigeria? And Francis just mentioned that you need to pay your annual returns. So it is not just enough for you to register your business. You also need to know that after your business is registered, there are other steps that you likely take, which is filing of annual
Annual
returns.
returns.
Okay,
Yes.
let's continue.
And these annual returns, let me quickly add, these annual returns can only be paid by an accredited agent.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So aside from filing of annual returns, what of situations where the individual, maybe there are some changes that occurred after the registration. Let's say maybe the address that they used when registering the business or company or incorporated trustees is no longer their usual address, or maybe for some persons they got married. For some persons, that's where there's need for name change, or maybe they change their secretary, shareholders, and all of that. Are there other things that will be needed to be done after their registration process to comply with the provisions of the law?
Okay, so after registration, for you to do anything, it's called post incorporation.
Okay.
That is the post, just like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So you can change every detail you have there. All you need is a resolution from the company
Okay.
and an agent to help you apply to the commission. Say you want to change a director, you apply to the commission, they will change it. You want to change your registered address. Maybe you were in Abuja before you've moved to Lagos, or you were somewhere in Abuja, you were in Maitama before, you are now in Gariki. You can apply for change of address. You can apply for change of details. Anything can be changed on the post website.
Okay. We'll be going on a short break, and when we are right back, we'll be continuing our conversation.
Hello, have you or anyone you know suffered violation or oppression, regardless of cultures, identities, or backgrounds? Leadership Hub, Justice and Economic Advancement is here for you. An organization created with an amplified voice to fight for you and with you. At LJE Nigeria, you will not only be heard, but also provided with legal support. Together, we can create a country where every individual can live without fear of violation or oppression. I am Aisha Shitima, an LJE member. You too can become a member today or report any violation by visiting our website, ljenigeria.org. You can also follow us on all social media platforms for more information and updates. Remember, together we are stronger.
Before we went on that very short break, we were discussing about post-registration compliance. It is one thing to get your business company or IT registered with CAC. It is another thing to understand that after registration, there are certain things that are expected of a registered company owner to carry out to ensure that that business stays active. And one of them, as mentioned by Francis here, it is filing of annual returns. So, as a registered company owner, you must ensure that you file your annual returns within the stipulated time provided by law. Usually, 18 months after registration, you are meant to start filing your returns. Also, when you fail to file returns, it doesn't just stop at that. Francis, when registered entities fail to file their returns, are there any consequences for failing to do so?
Yes, there are consequences. The first is that you will not be able to file any post incorporation filing.
Okay.
Post incorporation now, say you want to do change of directors, CAC won't allow you because your company will become inactive
Okay.
on the company portal. So your company needs to be active by payment of annual returns before you do any post incorporation filing. Then secondly, on the public search, say you want to apply for visa now and you go to the embassy. What the embassy does, you tell them you have a company, a registered company. What they do, they'll go to public search and search your company. Is it active or inactive?
Inactive.
So with that, you can even get visa denial. Then the last consequence is that your company can be struck off from the company list, struck off from the register of CAC. When it's struck off, it means you've chased away. You can't do business again with that
Are you
particular company.
serious?
Yes.
Okay, so for the sake of emphasis, if you fail to file your annual returns, certain things will happen to you. You'll be unable to make any post incorporation changes to your company. Let's say, for example, you want to change your name, you want to change your date of birth, or there is an error in your registration that you want to change. If you have not filed annual returns, CAC will not grant you access to make those changes possible. Also, you mentioned that there'll be striking off if you've not filed your annual returns for a long period of time. Your information will be struck off the CAC portal. And he also made mention that if you are the type that wants to apply for visas and all of that, when a public search is being carried on your profile at the CAC registry, it will indicate that the status of your company is inactive. So when you file your annual returns, what it does for you is that it ensures that the status of your company remains active at all times. So now you made mention of striking off. So when CAC, I know CAC has the discretion to strike off a company for failure to do the needful. So if a company is struck off, is there anything the company can do to get it back, or that's just the end of it?
No, if your company is struck off, you can get it back
Okay.
by going to the Federal High Court to file a case to give reasons why you were not able to keep up with the requirements of the law. If your reasons are good enough, the judge sees reason with you, they will give you they'll give you
relisting
judgment.
order.
Yes, a relisting order. Yes, an
Sense.
order for CAC to release your company, and it will be.
Okay. So if your company is struck off, it doesn't just end there. You can actually go back. You go through a lawyer or a professional to ensure that your company is being relisted. Though there is a procedure because you need to get a court order. So it is safer to file your returns, file them timely, and avoid your company being struck off. So now this brings me to the next question. What I want to ask now, I'll take us a little bit back. So from when we mentioned the procedure, we started with registration with CAC, and then you moved on to say they would be requiring TIN, tax identification number at Federal Inland Revenue Service (FRS).
Yes.
So once they get their TIN, are there other regulatory agencies that businesses or companies might be expected to acquire their licenses?
Okay, so this question is very broad.
Okay.
It's not in one line. Now, if you are offering financial services, you need to go to CBN to get a license from them to operate as a licensed money agent. Now, if you're there are different things, different things.
It just
Yeah,
depends on the
there's,
business you're doing.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
one of there's this very popular one that banks are now requesting for. We call it SCUMU. I don't know what others might call it. Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering. I know there are some banks that you might want to go and open an account and they'll tell you, oh, we need a license. That's actually a department in the EFCC. So from experience, is it every business or every type of company that they will always want to request such documentation or licenses from, or maybe some specific businesses will require some licenses and some might not warrant you to provide certain licenses like that, because there are some other persons that may even require NAFDAC.
That's people who manufacture.
Yes.
So if you're into manufacturing, definitely you require NAFTA.
Okay, so which means that when we're talking about the procedure, it is not just getting your CAC registration done, it is also acquiring your TIN number, it is also you acquiring whatever license that is particular with the company, the business type your company is carrying out. It could be the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering license from EFCC. It could be your NAFDAC license if you are the one that dealing into production of food and some other items. It could be, if you're a manufacturer, it could be your SON license, MANCAP. It varies from business type to business type. So what you need to do as a person that wants to go into business in Nigeria to acquire legal licenses, you need to make the right inquiry, get the right information at your fingertip to ensure that your procedure is not hindered by just one license that you failed to acquire. Some persons might also want to go as far as going for trademark registration. It is also part of the process.
Yes.
Because there are some
Especially people that are into intellectual.
yes,
property.
when your business has to do with intellectual property rights and all of that. And there are some things you might want to apply for as a person doing business. You might want to apply for contracts, you might want to apply for loans, you might want to apply for grants. And there are some organizations that if you do not get the right documentation as a person doing business, because you cannot just come to them and say, I am an individual that is carrying out a business. So you need to get those licenses and ensure that at all times, the status of your company with CAC remains active. You can actually go on the CAC website to check for the status of your company. It is provided for.
Yes.
With your phone, you can just even Google and check how can I check the
Public
status.
search.
Yeah, public search, and check how you can check for the status of your company, and you are good to go. Okay, so this brings me to the next question. Munirat, does applying for TIN automatically means you start paying tax? Because there's this perception a lot of business owners or company owners they have out there. Once they are done with their CAC registration, they don't even want to hear that word tax. TIN is tax identification number, I remember. And now CAC has even made it easier by ensuring that, working with FRS to ensure that certificates that are coming up now, they come with TIN number. But it still doesn't end there, because from experience, I realized that you still need to go and carry out a validation at FRS for that TIN to be effective. So getting a TIN number, does it equate to paying tax?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Yes, yeah, I'm just having your tax number entails so many reasons apart from you even paying the actual money.
Okay.
First of all, you might even want to have a contract with any government organization.
Okay.
You will need your TIN number for
Okay.
you to make that possible. Do you have more things on?
Yes, you are very
Process.
correct.
Yeah.
You are very correct. So if you just get your TIN number, it's like you've gotten your account number with the FIRS to enable you pay. Now, this
That's
tax
your unique tax identity number.
Assigned to you alone
Alone,
for
like
your
an individual
business.
for your case.
Yes. So this tax thing, when you want to apply for your tax clearance certificate, now that's when you declare profits on what comes to your account. You prepare an account, prepare a statement of affairs that shows, oh, this is how much that entered, but this is our profit. Now they tax you on your declared profit. It's not just on any amount that enters your account.
So they shouldn't be scared. They shouldn't be scared that once you because the truth is that if you are going to be running your business on a very good scale, you would need a corporate account. And when you go to the bank, banks would always request for CAC documents. They would also
For
request
loan
for
from them.
they'll request for your TIN number.
Starters will give you any contract if you do not have your
Have
TIN
your
number.
those things. So, do you have any exit recommendations for our viewers? Let's begin from Francis.
Okay, so for our viewers, I know CAC has made registration very easy, but there are professionals who have been doing this for a while, and every other time I get people that will come and meet me that, oh, barrister, I started my registration, oh, but I'm stuck here. CAC has been querying me. Personally, I charge those people more because I was here before you went to do it.
there.
Exactly.
So we need a professional because we've been doing this for a while, and then if you don't even use a professional, do you know there are some things you click there, you even pay more. Something that maybe you're supposed to pay 30,000, you can go and pay 60,000. So I recommend that you should always
Get professional help.
professional help.
Yeah, many racks.
My recommendation will be, as long as you conceive the idea to have a business running in Nigeria, the first thing to do to legalize your business is to register your business properly and contact a registered and accredited agent. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our viewers for staying with us on today's episode. So one last word before I leave. If you know that you would love to apply for contracts, you love to apply for visas, you would love to apply for loans, and what have you, remember that there is no organization out there that wants to work with an unrecognized entity or an entity that is not legally recognized. So this is a call for you today that once you conceive the idea of starting up a business, starting up a company, please do well to get your company registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission and also ensure that every other post-registration compliance is being met. Till I come your way again next time, it's bye for now.